everybody. Thanks for watching. So real quick, Merkabah Scholar Society members, make sure you guys check the app for the calendar. So the new calendar is up for our next meeting and everything else. So make sure you guys check the app for that. Also, MPA members asking about the trip to Egypt. You have to be in the society for the trip to Egypt. So mostly everybody from MPA is in the society now. So if you haven't by now joined the society, then obviously you don't fuck with me like that. So I don't know what to tell you. So people asking about the melanin video, and it's not in the list or what have you. Everybody is in the society, and if you're in the society, then you already got the link. It's on the app, so you already got the link to any new videos. So I'm not putting too much stock because it costs money for Podia. It costs money, and everything I do is extra. So I'm not putting too much stock in the Podia links. So if you're in the society, then you're going to have access to it. It's on a whole different platform now. And you understand when you're in the society. So if by now, at this point, if you're not in the society, like I said, I drew that line. You didn't cross that line. So if you're not in the society, then like I said, you don't fuck with me like that. So don't be waiting until something new comes out to act like you follow my information when you made it clear. At this point, you don't care about the information. So I've heard it all. People say, hey, I can do my own research. Or you ain't the only one who can read books. And all the shit people say, to try to discredit what we do. I give a lot of respect to all the scholars and all the people out there, whatever you want to call yourself, who would take the time to put this information out. It's a lot of work. Until you took the time to edit video and do the research and put this stuff together in a way that people can understand it, until you do that and really understand what it is that we do, and that is not easy, then you're not going to never get it. You're not going to understand. You're going to be completely ungrateful and continue to be ungrateful about what we put out and the risk that we take in doing what we do. It's a lot. It's the reason why a lot of these people who was out years ago, putting out content are gone. A lot of these people are gone. It's videos all over social media about people saying shit years ago. The stuff that's coming out now that people are piggybacking off, we was talking about years ago, right? So the videos are out there to prove that. My research speaks for itself. It's just that simple. So if you follow me, if you've been paying attention and keeping up with the research over the years, do you understand what I talk about and what I get into? And like I said, I'm not trying to be no celebrity or be on a bigger, huge platform and be in front of thousands of people like I'm a rap star or what have you. I'm not trying to do none of that. It's about the information. And when I get into things, and I go deep. Sometimes it takes long, sometimes it don't. But this is very time consuming. And it's a lot that we do when we do this. So I always appreciate everybody who's been here. So again, at this point, if you're not in a society, you don't fuck with me. It's $18 a month. That's it. I waive the initial fee. So it's $18 a month. The link is in the description. That's all it takes. That comes with a lot. So when all the videos come out, you get them for free. We do meetings twice, sometimes 3 times a month. A lot of videos come out as well for the society specifically. So it's a lot that we do. You have the app. You have access to the app. We have the website. It's a lot going on. It's a lot coming up. So, again, I appreciate everybody in the society and everybody who's been inquiring about it. But like I said, I've been talking about this for a long time now. It's over a year now the society has existed. And I'm trying to get people in there that's in this like-minded energy to be around like-minded people. Right now, we're in a phase to where it's about building wealth and everybody, getting in that status to not have to worry about, money, not have to worry about, the rat race, and to be truly conscious and to be able to practice spirituality, you need to be free. You need to be free of a 9-to-5. You need to be free of the worry about paying bills and everything like that. You need to be free of that. And right now we're just in this phase to where we're working on that, and we're investing and working on certain things to get to that point so we can move on to more spiritual things. So yeah, just want to talk about that real quick. I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of questions because I put out the preview for the melanin video. And everybody went all crazy on it. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that in this video because I got a lot of questions about it. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. So yeah, let's start. So yeah, in the melanin video, and I touched on this in the last live where I got into understanding your subconsciousness as being God and how the Bible is breaking that down to you in so many ways, right? So the Bible in so many verses is saying God is in you. You are God. Jesus says, isn't it written that I say ye are gods? And, I will always be with you even to the end of the world, so on and so forth. And it's giving you the understanding about your subconsciousness being God. And I always tell you guys, your subconscious is God. Jesus represents you and your conscious state. It represents your conscious state and your physical body, right? So the body of Christ, the consciousness, Christ consciousness, all that is wrapped up in Jesus, right? And this is why Jesus is followed by the 12 disciples, which represents the zodiac, which represents us all. So it's giving you the understanding that spiritually, Jesus represents us spiritually as far as our consciousness and our physical body as well, right? So think about that. You have Jesus in the flesh, which is a big deal in the Bible, and also, the spirit of Jesus, Jesus ascending, so on and so forth. And that's a whole other part, right? So you got to understand what that means, right? So you and your conscious state, what is that really? You and your conscious state, that's that voice you hear in your head, right? That's the reflex, right? When you catch something that you didn't really see coming consciously and you just grab it, it's the reflex, right? It's the consciousness that we walk around with, that we are wrestling with, right? And you're going to have your demons, and your demons would be the spiritual part, but dealing with the physical, of course, because anything bad for you is going to be affecting your physical body, right? And your subconsciousness represents God. So you understand the Bible is kind of trying to break this down to you, that God is the almighty, the powerful subconscious, and then no man comes to the Father but by me, which is Jesus, your consciousness, which it's about coming together, right? Masculine and feminine energy, whole lot of deep stuff, right? But what I was saying is understanding how your subconscious is calculative, right? It calculates movement and understands what you're going to do before you do it, right? Any type of movement you make, you think about it before you even do it. It just happens so fast that you don't consciously realize it, right? So that's something real deep to think about. So when I was talking about in the video and in the live about understanding how your subconsciousness works as far as what you're here to do, and that movement, right? That calculation of what the plan was that you made when you came here. And that's getting into the bargain, the deal we all made before we came here that we don't remember. So again, you got to think about it as a game. And you got to think about it as understanding that in order to play this game, then there are rules. And the rules are known and kept by your subconscious. Your subconscious knows all the rules and knows what the game is and knows what you're here for and what you're here to do. It knows what we need to get while we are here. And it can't tell you outright. Understand? It's just like teaching somebody math. You can't tell them the answer to the question. You have to break it down of how you got to this point, right? Remember, show your work. When we was learning the division in school, we had to show the work. You can't just write the answer. They wanted to see the work and how you arrived at that answer, because that's how you learn. That's how it's proven that you learned something, right? It's the same thing, same type of situation. So can't tell you outright. That's part of the rules. So you must learn. It's things that you must do in order to arrive at that point. And all your subconscious can do is attract this stuff to you when you put it out that you understand it needs to be attracted to you, right? Tough thing. Now, the thing is, we're out here and we're surrounded by so many distractions, right? It's so much going on, so much to really interfere with your consciousness and your path and what you're trying to do. And you're interacting with the world. You're experiencing things. And that's part of what we're here for. That's almost the main reason why we're here. Because through our experiences, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, right? So through our experiences, we're going to grow. We're going to learn a lot of things, and we're going to figure a lot of things out. And the biggest thing we're going to figure out is what we're here to do and that path that we should be on. And your subconscious is going to give you those hints and lead you down that way. Now, there is going to be the demons that hinder that, right? That's what Satan represents. And the demons represents the world. This is why the Bible says that Satan is the god of this world, because this world represents the physical and material, right? And the bad things, the stuff that's going to be in your way, that little devil on your shoulder versus the angel, right? So through your experiences, you're going to run into Satan, you're going to run into demons, and some of you are going to have demons put on you. And it's all it represents. It represents your procrastination. It represents your addictions. It represents your fears. That's all demons are when you understand, right? So those demons are going to keep you from your path. It's going to keep you from God. And this is why in the Bible, you have God versus Satan, right? Both are you. This is why God doesn't just kill Satan, because he is you, right? So you have to start looking at this on a totally different level, and then you begin to understand how the Bible is just the most amazing book ever, because it's breaking this down to you. So in the melanin video, I gave it to you from the beginning, from conception, being born, and that whole process, right? That's what Genesis is talking about. And then you becoming a living soul, right? God breathing the breath of life into your nostrils. That's what you take in when you come out your mother's womb, that breath of life, the first breath outside of the womb, the breath of life. And then you go on to become a living soul. And there are rules every step of the way that you must follow. And your parents is very, very pivotal in your growing stages in the beginning of life. It's a big deal. And we don't even know, we don't realize it. And you have to, bring a child into this world, teach them certain things. And let's just say your subconscious is relying on your parents to kind of put you on that right path. That's why it's important to be successful, to have good parents with good morals and good understanding of the world. If you're born into a wealthy family or a family that has good morals or good whatever, then you're going to be an okay kid and they're going to be able to teach you and put you on that path. But there's going to be things that start to come into your life when you become conscious enough that you have to start to accept. It's a big spiritual deal being a baby and being a child. This is why the occult is all wrapped up in the children and all this and that. Whole nother story, right? Because that's power. So much power in all of that. And it's the closest to, the truth, let's just say. But there's an energy within us as a child that we are still attached to as far as energetic wise, not so much consciously, but energetic wise. There's an energy. You begin to understand. The energy is going to be almost like a cheat sheet to tapping into a higher level of consciousness, if you understand. And this is why the occult is wrapped up in it. And so much, demonic, sacrificial, crazy stuff always involving children. We've seen this in the book of Genesis with the children, the child sacrifice, them eating babies, the Israelites. Why is that? What is all this going on wrapped up around children? It's a lot to it. That's a whole different topic that I won't get into here. I don't think people are ready for that. But your parents is important. And your parents is going to start this thing off. And then as you become conscious and you get into that more conscious state, it's on you, right? So then the games begin. And then you have to make those choices. And that's what it comes down to. And when I always say there are rules, your subconscious understands this. It understands that it can't break the rules and that everything that this game involves is conducive to your choices, right? Your choices is going to shape your reality. Choices is everywhere. Choices is everything. So if you understand when people say, consciousness is basically trying to experience you in this incarnation, but there's other dimensions with you in different incarnations, right? Different choices. So if I choose left, what would happen? Well, I want to know what happens if I chose right. So there's going to be a different you. What's going to happen if I go up? What's going to happen if I go down? What's going to happen if I take this job or that job? If I move to this city or that city, so on and so forth. The choices are infinite. So this is why they say this infinite realities, infinite dimensions, and so many different possibilities. And we can feel and tap into those experiences and those frequencies every single day. We do all the time. That's what deja vu is all about. It's so big and so deep when we get into it, right? So I talked about in the video, also talked about this in a live about the dream state and just imagining, shifting frequencies when you dream, and a dream state being a different reality that really exists, and you being in that body as far as you being you, but in a different dimension. Let's just say experiencing what it's like, experiencing a culmination of choices that you made at that point, right? So you're there to learn something. So the reason why you have a dream period, for those who don't dream like myself, you understand why if you got to that point. It's because you can no longer be fooled. And that's what it's about. The next stage is nirvana. And this is what the monks get into. Meditating is the biggest thing you can do to get to this point. Because after a while, you're going to start becoming conscious in a dream state. Now, if you've been meditating for decades and you understand that in the sleep state, which in meditation you would be almost there, like a demi-sleep, you understand that you're conscious. Now, even in meditation, you let go. And then, you're just gone. You're off in there. You're not really controlling, but you're conscious. So you can be in what we call a daydream, right? When you just start daydreaming, you start thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. Next thing you know, you're gone. You could be staring out the window and then you're just gone in a daydream. Remember that as a kid? And somebody will call your name or something to happen, you snap out of it. And it's like, welcome back. I talked about this before. And it's like, where did I just go? I was just somewhere else with this whole deep thought of doing something. And then now I'm back here and fully conscious, let's just say. So in that state, it's a learning process. The dream world is a learning process, and your subconscious is trying to give you hints and clues, no matter how stupid and crazy the dream may seem, right? So I talked about in the live about understanding you being in a dream state in first person versus in third person, right? Versus you being in your body, like how you look right now, and then it seems so real, versus you looking at yourself walking around, right? So if you play games from first person shooter to third person RPG or what have you, role playing, whatever. So it's a different look. When you have those dreams, they are important because it's trying to tell you something from the third person and the first person. The points of view are important. That's why we have it like that with plays. Looking at yourself from outside of you and understanding what your subconscious is trying to tell you is a deep thing. You need to be more observant, and that's what it means. You need to really observe what's going on around you, and it's trying to explain that to you. And then a lot of us don't make that connection when something happened that is similar to what happened in the dream state. Being in first person is another thing that's very important. It means it's really urgent for you to understand what you're experiencing now, to the point to where it's so serious that I want you to be in your normal first person state, to where it seems like the dream is real, right? So you got to understand those things and pick up on what the littlest things are that happen in those dreams. These things will affect your physical reality, right? So the whole thing is, in the Bible, God has these laws, right? Again, back to the laws, these rules, 10 commandments, so on and so forth. All these things he's commanding the Israelites to do and not do. So these rules and these laws exist. And God says, if you obey these laws, you will have, for the Israelites, you guys are going to have a promised land. And that promised land is going to be the land of milk and honey. You guys are going to be prosperous and dwell and live good, right? And that was the promise for them, that if you guys obey these things, this is what you can have. It's the same thing saying to you in your real life. If you obey these laws, these are not the so-called 10 commandments or what have you, as far as, on the surface. Because remember, God tells the Hebrews, don't kill, don't steal. And then he goes and commands them to do that, right? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, or what have you. And he commands them to go and do exactly that, right? So it's not so much that. It's understanding there are laws, there are rules. Now, we're in this physical world where we have to deal with these physical laws. So it's kind of hinting on that. Of course, not to kill, not to steal, or what have you. There are consequences to that. But it's just getting you into that understanding that there are rules and things you need to follow, right? So in that understanding, there are rules, there are laws, there are things you should obey. There are things you should do. And if you do these certain things and stay on this right path, then it will lead you to success, which is true in our reality, right? Follow the rules. You do what you got to do. You don't cheat yourself. You can go and you can be successful. And in being successful, you'll live this life or what have you. And then it'll allow you to come into a better understanding of spirituality because you'll be free, right? So following these commandments and following these rules will lead you to that point. But he's also saying there are consequences if you don't. The biggest one is God will fucking kill you. As I talked about, you're dead, you're gone. So if I see that, and this is understanding how your subconscious works, if I understand that this path that we're on, and your subconscious being the almighty God, understanding the path that you are on and what we need to get out of this life while we are here, right? Understanding my hands are tied, and God or your subconscious, you can't tell you, don't go left, don't go right. This is something that you have to make a choice and choose to do. And your subconscious can already see, based upon what you have been doing, it can already calculate that you're not going to make it.